Will all Scouts and Scouts present join me in repeating the Scout along? On my honor, will do my best, do my duty, to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help the people at all times, keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2. By the authority vested in me by the Honorable Area Council and the National Council, Boy Scouts of America, I declare this board of honor to be convened.
Please be seated. All right. The mic is live. I made the magic happen, believe it or not. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this Eagle Court of Honor. I'm going to do my best to get through this. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a struggle. All the scouts that we have in our troop are important to me. Let's just say I have to write it down. So, please bear with me if we're going to get through this the best we can. This Eagle Court of Honor is an occasion for pride and joy. It's also a time for serious reflection. The Eagle is the highest recognition that Scouting offers to its Scouts. It's earned through the advancement program, and only a small percentage of the boys that begin in Scouting receive this honor. The Wear of the Eagle Award is the epitome of Scouting's best efforts and beliefs. Tonight, we have the privilege, or this afternoon, we have the privilege of seeing the climax of Thomas, Dalton, Kyle, and Jacob's efforts when they joined the company of the Eagle Scouts. Before we finally get this show on the road, I'm going to ask our chaplain's aide, Landon Blackwood, to come forward and deliver the invocation.
Remove non-religious hair here, please. God, please be with these eagles in their way to destiny with the light. And amen.
Thank you. The Eagle Badge was designed in 1912 by Boy Scouts of America. The eagle has been a symbol for many peoples through time, all times. To the ancient Egyptians, the eagle was the messenger of the gods and the sun, and a symbol of eternal life. To the Romans, he carried Jupiter's thunderbolts and was a sign of power. To the American Indians, he stood as an incentive to valor and the pledge of victory. For us today, in the United States, the eagle is the living symbol of all courageous and freedom-loving Americans. When the Eagle Scout badge was designed in 1912, it was designed with a small silver eagle suspended from a tricolor ribbon of red, white, and blue, and it remains in that form today. Mr. Oakes, you please step forward.
The foremost responsibility of an Eagle Scout is to live with honor. To an Eagle Scout, honor is the foundation of all character. He knows that a Scout is trustworthy, is the very first point in the Scout law for a good reason. An Eagle Scout lives honorably not only because honor is important to him, but because the
Eagle Scout is to be courageous. Courage has always been a quality by which men measure themselves and others. To a scout, bravery means not only the courage to face physical danger, but the determination to stand up for the right. Trusting in God with faith in his fellow man, he looks forward to each day, seeking his share of the world's work to do. Let the thread of the Eagle badge remind you always of courage.
The fourth obligation of an Eagle Scout is to be cheerful. To remind the Eagle Scout to always wear a smile, the red, white, and blue ribbon is attached to the scroll of the second-class Scout Award, which has its ends turned up in a smile.
The honorable responsibility of the Eagle Scout is service. The Eagle Scout extends a helping hand to those who still toil above the Scouting trail, just as the others help him in the climb to the Eagle. The performance of the daily good turn takes on the new meaning when he enters a more adult life of continuing service to others. The Eagle stands as a protector of the weak and helpless. He aids and comforts the unfortunate and oppressed. He upholds the rights of others while defending his own. He will prepare and support his best.
This time, I'm going to ask Childress, Dalton, Elmer, Haggerty, and Jacob Wood to please step up here. Gentlemen, step up there and please turn and face the audience. That way they can identify you later. All along the trail of achievement, gentlemen, your scoutmasters have given you advice and encouragement. And as your scoutmaster specifically, I vouch for each of you, stating on my honor as a scouter that you have been faithful in serving your troop, in giving leadership to its scouts, in practicing the principles of the Scout Oath and Law, and in practicing the good turn in your daily life. Based on my recommendation, each of you were then approved by a board of review convened for the purpose of reviewing your qualifications. Mr. Childress, Mr. Elmer, Mr. Haggerty, and Mr. Wood, do each of you, on your honor as a scout, have you all fulfilled the requirements to be entitled to the high honor that the Eagle Badge represents? Gentlemen, when you became a scout, did you undertake the Scout Oath?
Yes, sir.
Is there any reason why you should not renew that promise now? That does require a response, guys. When you have the question mark at the end. Then, gentlemen, please make the scout sign and give the scout oath. On my honor,
Do my best, do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, keep myself physically strong, and mentally awake, and morally straight.
gentlemen, each of you have just recommitted yourselves to the principles of that oath. Going forward, you will have a new and more intense obligation to your church, your community, and to your troop. The knowledge you gain in all areas of scouting is better enabling you to be prepared for the future, whatever it may hold and its challenges. The scout motto of "Be Prepared" will take on a new and special meaning. Gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to give to you the Eagle Charge. Scouts of all nations make up the most wholesome and significant movements in the world's history. You, 4, have been judged by the Boy Scouts of America to be worthy of this high honor. All who know you rejoice in your achievement. This award, as you know, is your honor and your responsibility. Gentlemen, going forward, each of you is a marked man. As an Eagle Scout, you assume a solemn obligation to do your duty to God country, to your fellow scouts, and to mankind. This is a great undertaking. It's not to be taken lightly. As you live up to those obligations, you bring honor to yourselves, your families, and your brother scouts. This country has many good things to give you and any children you may have after you. But these good things depend, in large part, on the quality of the citizens that we have. Our country has had a great past. Gentlemen, you can help make the future even greater. Therefore, I charge you, each of you, to undertake your citizenship with solid dedication. Be a leader, but lead only toward the best. Lift up every task you do and every office you hold to the highest level of service to God and your fellow man. Live and serve so that those who know you will be inspired to finer living. I charge you to be among those who dedicate their hearts, hands, skills, and abilities to the common good. Help to build America's future by continuing to set an example of clean living, honest work, unselfish citizenship, and reverence for God, whatever others may do. You will leave behind you a record of which you may be justly proud. Mr. Childress, Mr. Elmer, Mr. Haggerty, and Mr. Wood, I charge each of you to enter this Eagle Scout Brotherhood, holding without reservation and ever before you the ideals of honor and service. By the repetition of the Eagle Scout promise before your fellow members, you will become an Eagle Scout. When you pledge yourself on your sacred honor, you will be sealing your eternal loyalty to the code of the Eagle Scout with the same words which close the Declaration of Independence. Are you gentlemen ready? I will ask any Eagle Scouts present today to please stand and renew your Eagle Scout promise along with these four gentlemen. Make the Scout sign. Repeat after me. At least they didn't repeat after say it, but repeat after me. I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training an example and my status and my influence count strongly for better scouting, for better citizenship in my troop, in my community, and in my contacts with other people. To this I pledge my sacred honor. Two. You all may be seated. Mr. Childress, Mr. Elmer, Mr. Haggerty, and Mr. Wood, having confirmed all readiness for the reception of this award, it is now time to formally present you with this high badge of accomplishment. Therefore, by the authority vested in me by the National Court of Honor of Boy Scouts of America, it is my privilege and pleasure to pronounce each of you an Eagle Scout. May the oath you have taken remain always with you. No words that can be entered in this court of honor can do justice to the devotion and patient perseverance with which you and your scoutmasters have worked towards this high honor. Therefore, it is my pleasure to, at this time, provide you with your badge. Congratulations. 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 Gentlemen, your parents have been a great source of inspiration and support to each of you in your quest for this evil Lord. At this time, gentlemen, I'm going to ask that each of you go and retrieve your parents as are present in the audience. Bring them forward so that they may be recognized. I'm right here. I'm really fine. There'll be a little crowd. I think we can get there. Ladies and gentlemen, no one will ever know the unnumbered acts of self-sacrifice and helpfulness that each of you have given your Eagle Scout, which have led us to this night. As the symbol of what you've done possible, I will now ask each Eagle to present each of their parents that is present with a miniature Eagle pin. Gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate you again. And may I remind you that scouting should now be an even greater tie between son and parents, binding you even more closely as a family. To each of our new Eagle Scouts, I express confidence that you will honor scouting with your life and service as tonight's scouting honors you. And that God may bless you and make you a blessing is our prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, you may return to your seats. Parents are not the only important people in an Eagle Scout's life. It takes, for all that it's a saying that we all laugh at this point, it does in fact take a village to get anything accomplished at this level. Each Eagle candidate has others that have acted as mentors to him, to help him on the scouting trail and to serve as examples for him as to how he should live. Each of these young men has picked out one or more people that would like to recognize as a mentor. Gentlemen, I would ask that you go and escort those people to the stage at this time. Each of these mentors is presented with a special eagle pin that recognizes their efforts on behalf of the Scout. Gentlemen, please present your mentors with their pin. You all may be seated. Thank you. On behalf of our troop, and quite frankly on my own behalf, thank you to each of those that was recognized this evening for what you've done with these young men. Gentlemen, before we leave the ceremony in true Scout fashion, I'm going to ask that each of you silently ask your God to give you strength and courage to wear with distinction and honor the award that you now hold. I'm going to ask that everyone please bow their heads and join each of these young men in a silent prayer at this time. Thank you. Mr. Childress, Mr. Elmer, Mr. Haggerty, and Mr. Wood, I congratulate each of you as an Eagle Scout. The eagle soars high and seeks to rest only upon lofty peaks. As an Eagle Scout, you too must soar high. You must not swerve from the path of duty. Your ideals must be lofty. You must strive to obtain that which is the noblest and highest in life. Therefore, I hereby close this Eagle Court of Honor, and it is my privilege to present to each of you Eagle Scout Thomas Childress, Eagle Scout Dalton Elmer, Eagle Scout Kyle Haggerty, and Eagle Scout Jacob Wood. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our ceremony. There is a reception in the building just this way. We would love for you to join us. We've got a few refreshments, things like that. There's some things from these boys' history as scouts to look at and be amazed at how small they were when they first joined. For those of you that don't know, 3 of these young men, the 3 closest to me, actually signed up as Tigers in my Cub Scout Pack 33 back in 2011. And I've been their scout leader ever since. It was my privilege to cross over with them when they crossed over to this troop as Boy Scouts. Jacob joined the year after they did as a wolf. And it has been an amazing privilege to serve as their